Hey y'all, here is going to be a lesson on a bunch of easy rock riffs. So we're going to start out with Flying High Again by Ozzy Osbourne. We use the first finger A chord. So when you do that, you're trying to get either just the power chord part, the open 2-2, or sometimes you want to get that next 2, but you definitely want to mute the bottom one. You don't want to hear a 2 down there. So that's kind of that major chord, if you even need that. A lot of times you don't really need that, but sometimes you can kind of do it sometimes and it doesn't matter. But we're going to go to this G note here on this big E string a lot. So we got... And a lot of times you'll do a slight bend on that 3 just to give it a little bit of a bluesy flavor. So we got... Now we're going to go A down to a D power chord. And this D power chord, I'm not doing a full D. I'm going to mute the bottom string. So I just want to hear this D and the 2 and the 3 down here. And I can hear that A with it as well. It makes it sound fat if you put that A in there too. So. Now this is going to be a real rock and roll type of a G, kind of an AC/DC kind of a G. So we got a middle finger on the 3 here. We're muting the A string. We got open, open, and 3, and we're muting the bottom string with the bottom of that finger that's playing that second string. So we got... Now we're going to do a little riff where we're going to do a hammer-on 2 to 3 on the A string. And that's back to the D twice. And we could, like I said, we can use that A in there if we want. So we got... And then we're going to go 5s on the middle strings to opens on the middle strings. So one more time through on that. If you want to get a little fancy with the little thing there, we got... Okay, and you could do a thing like a... He's got another little riff like that, so he kind of just fancies things up. He's also got one little thing where he kind of goes... And he kind of hits that 5th fret of the D string to give it a little bend there. So the whole thing with a little bit of the fills. 2, 3, and... Okay, so that was Flying High Again by Ozzy Osbourne. Okay, so we got a C chord down here, we got 3, and then we're barring the 5s on the next 3 strings. We want to mute the little E again, like we did with that A down there. So we got C to D, we're going 3rd fret to 5th fret. We're going to have 2 of those little pick scratches. So we got... So at that point, we're switching our chord to getting the 7s from that D chord, but with our first finger, so we can slide this D up to an E. And then we're going to hit this other shape here. So that's the 9s on the D, G, and B strings, but we're going into the 11, 9, and 10 down here. And that's kind of a Rolling Stones kind of chord you'll see a lot. Chicka. And then you're going D up to E with a slide on the first finger. And this is part of an A chord, this 11, 9, and 10. So it's like D, E, A, E. C, D, and then D, E, A, E. So 2, 3, and... Okay, here's another easy riff. This is Oh Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison. Also, Van Halen did a great cover of it. So we're going to have... Okay, so let's look at that right there. So we got 004 on the big string, and then 2 on the 5th string, and then open 4th string, D string. 00420. So we got 00420. We'll let that ring out. Can we do this a couple times? And then we're going to add to the riff 420 on the D string. And if you want to take that a little further, you got A, F sharp minor, okay, so once more on those chords, you got A, kind of like raking up, kind of a little sort of a R&B type thing. And then F sharp minor is 2 and 4 and 4, like the power chord, with those 2s barred also. D, E. Kind of hangs in that a little bit. So once again with that full riff. Let's try it together. 2, 3, and. All right, so moving along. Let's do one by Rush. Okay, so let's look at that riff. We got 0, 2, 3, 4 to the A. 0, 2, 3, 4, 2. So that little 3, 4, 2 is a hammer on. So we got. And we can throw the chords in there, the little E power chord, open and 2, and the open and 2 on the A string. So we got. And then we're going to go E chord, A, D. That B is 2, 4, 4, 4. Just kind of like that A shape, but up to, you know, just not used quite as much as this. But it definitely gets used a lot. So here goes E, A, and B. All right, let's do a little Black Sabbath right here. So this is going to be the end of War Pigs. This is called Luke's Wall. It's kind of like the ending sections of that whole song. So it's got a cool chord here. This is like a E minor 7 chord. So we have our power chord E, 7 and 9 there, starting on the A string is the 7. But we got a bar down here because we got to get this 7 down here. We're going to hold that whole thing as a chord, and it's going to move down to different places all the way down. So we got to hold that real tight. So we got... That's going to be our repeating pattern right there. So we're going to have, check out these strings like 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3. So those are the string numbers, you know. 5, 4, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, 3, 4, 3. like I say, that's a pattern we're gonna do. So let's try that. 3 and 4 and. Three and 4 and. Okay, and then the first thing we're gonna do after that is we're gonna go. So that was the E chord down to the B on the 2nd fret to the D on the 5th fret. And it's good to know these chord names if you don't know all these. Like that's C, this is D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G. You know, it's good to know all those chords. B flat or A sharp. Usually you call it B flat, but so here goes that riff again. E, B, and D. And see, we had kind of 3 little more chords there to fill in the end of the space of that measure. So. Now this time we're going to go E, G, E up to a higher G. So 10th fret. Now we're done with all these kind of side chords that we were doing. Now we're going to get into a thing where we just hold this one position and then we start moving it down 2 frets and down 2 frets. So this becomes the new part where it's like. 2 times in this one. Okay, so once we got into that and we got away from those other chords we were doing, we did 4 of the E, 2 of the D, 2 of the C, and then we ended up with the B5, B power chord, C, C, B. So let's do that whole thing. Four times E. Two times D. C. 2 times B. C, C, D. And then we got this last little thing. Okay, so we got what we had is a hammer on here on the 5th string, 5 to 7, as we play the big string open, the E. So now we're on the D string, 4 and 5. We got down to that 5th on the A string, big 7 to the 5, back to that hammer thing. So we got. 4, 5, 7. 4, 5, 7. And then he goes into his solo and stuff. Okay, let's look at maybe like one more Black Sabbath type riff. Here's a real super easy one. This is from their like first song, Black Sabbath. It's just the big one open, and then the B note, 5th fret of the A string, B flat note. And that's like the devil's interval. That's why it sounds so wicked, right? So. that was some easy rock and roll riffs. Hope you dug that. We shall talk to you soon. Please like and subscribe. Thanks a lot. I'm Damon. Peace.